Cosmic Girl 101 signing on for the Libra Rising Astrology for the month of June 2024. We're going to be discussing the transits for the month, which means what are the planets doing in the solar system, what houses are they going to be staying in, what are they ingressing into, what are they leaving, what is going on in regards to how these movements of the planets do affect you as a Libra rising. Opening up the month of June, the Sun is continuing its transit in the sign of Gemini. For you as a Libra rising, this is your 9th house. This is great because it's trining your 1st house, which is all about you. Now, the Sun in Gemini is fantastic for getting details and connecting through others, ideas, concepts, their ideologies connected to higher education, travel, philosophical and spiritual beliefs and outlooks about life, going on pilgrimages, learning about different cultures and food, long distance travel, legalities, looking at the ethics and morals of our lives. There's a lot going on in the 9th house, but that Sun beaming through for you until June 20 of this year highlights the need to connect, get details, data, and the analytics all about those 9th house topics of expansion. On June 20, we see that Sun leaving the sign of Gemini, your 9th house, and ingressing into the sign of Cancer. And this is your 10th house until July 2nd, 22nd of 2024. So June 20 to July 22nd this year. Now, the Sun in the 10th, this is significant because the 10th house is an angular house. It squares your 1st house, which impacts you as a Libra rising. Now, the Sun in the 10th house is really giving you a lot of energy and a lot of time and patience to look at what's permanent in your 10th house, connected to your career, your legacy that you're leaving behind, you know, how people actually receive you publicly, how you're visually seen in the public. It's also to do with authority and authority figures. It's where people have a little bit of a stamp of, you know, father energy going on in that 10th house. So this is what's lit up for you, and it squares you in that 1st house. So for the next 4 weeks from June 20 to July 22nd, the Sun in Cancer is all about illuminating what feels joyful in connecting to you. Does it feel organic what you're doing in regards to your career and your public reputation? Do you want to change things up? Here's your opportunity to see what's working and what isn't when it comes to that transit for you. And remember, on June 20, it's the beginning of the summer solstice. It's the new season. So in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the beginning of the summer solstice. And the Southern Hemisphere, it's the winter solstice. No matter where you are on the planet, it is all about expression, joy, and light. So enjoy this transit when you have the Sun transiting in the sign of Cancer. The lunations for the month of June. Well, Libra rising, on the 6th of June, we've got a new moon occurring for you in your 9th house, and it is conjunct the planet Venus. We like this. Venus is your ruling planet as a Libra rising and trines your 1st house. So this is beneficial for jumping on board with connecting with people of significance that align with you and your integrity and your self-worth and your own values. This looks great for beginning something new beneath the surface that's going to grow and bloom and blossom in the future. So it's sort of like a secret little connection or a secret plan connected to those 9th house topics we were talking about, that's going to bring you a sense of joy and fulfillment and feel like it's actually going to improve you physically, psychologically, and have people looking at you very differently when we get to that full moon in the sign of Gemini come the end of the year. On the 21st of June, there's a full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and this is your 4th house, and the Sun is in Cancer, the 10th house opposing the full moon. And this full moon is squaring your 1st house. So an tension here, bit of a struggle or conflict going on, connected to family, where you actually anchor in every day, connected to a home, real estate, property concerns, a family, dynamic. Something's being illuminated here that you're trying to differentiate from. You're trying to separate from something that is possibly holding you back. So it could be a family situation or a home situation, or where you perceive home to be, that is in conflict with your public image and career. But you're trying to establish some sort of solid foundation. And it's as if the career or some authority figures really dampening your parade, and you're trying to separate yourself. So I think this is almost the beginning of the end in regards to that 4th house and 10th house being in conflict, because the next month we've got another full moon in the sign of Capricorn, your 4th house. So 2 full moons in your 4th house coming in succession. So if you're trying to completely sever from something in regards to your career, stand apart from the crowd, you'll definitely have your opportunities, or opportunities will certainly present themselves to allow you to go in a very more self-determined direction and position in your life, connected to home, family, real estate, property concerns, ancestry, and your sense of where is your sanctuary, where is your home. Now, Mercury is the planet connected to travel, intellectual travel, very cerebral planet, but it's all about the movement and action. On the 3rd of June, we've got Mercury ingressing into its home sign of Gemini, so it's quite happy here, your 9th house, until June 17. So this is a quick transit. So we've got 2 weeks and change of Mercury in its home sign, the 9th house for you as a Libra rising. Great, it trines your 1st house, so it's going to be beneficial for you. So here we have Mercury coming in, making the connections, possibly information overload, but at least the communication's here, the data's here, the contracts are here for you to mull over, consider, and things start, moving exponentially well. And there could just be an uptick in mental activities. Watch your mental health. When Mercury's in its home sign flying here, you could be having you in a bit of a kerfuffle. So just, dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure you're doing due diligence when it comes to looking at the details of contracts, agreements, and negotiations with others. Because it's trining you, I suspect it'll go quite organically and not too many hiccups, but there may be stimulation overload, and it's always wise just to check the details twice. The same day, Mercury conjuncts Jupiter when it ingresses into your 9th house. So this is information overload, inflation of information, too much hot air blown around the room, and possibly overextension of the truth. So watch the 3rd when we've got Mercury ingressing in its home side conjuncting that big gregarious Jupiter. The 12th of June, we've got Mercury squaring Saturn in Pisces, so you've got some tension here from your 9th to your 6th. So it almost feels like what you do habitually on a daily basis connected to career, even your health regime, co-workers, services you provide to other, are in conflict here. So it could be a legal situation, or just morals and ethics just aren't lining up in regards to your work and your beliefs, or even something to do with law. And possibly to do with travel. So the 12th is a tricky day. Mark that in your calendar. It's a square from Saturn to Gemini. Saturn saying no to Mercury. Saturn saying no to Mercury. Why? Well, Saturn's a little bit wiser, to be really frank. And Saturn is going to put in restrictions because you need to slow down and check the details. So forewarned is forearmed. June 17, we see Mercury leaving its home sign of Gemini and ingressing into the sign of Cancer until the 2nd of July. And as you can see, that's a quick transit, which is your 10th house. Now, this squares your 1st house, so it's a tricky transit. Mercury in the 10th house can have, tongues are wagging, bit of deception going on connected to, the intel or communication in your workplace. Authority figures could have you saying, we need details, we need you to look at the details, we need you to look at the contracts. So you could feel a little bit overwhelmed when Mercury is transiting that 10th house. The same day when Mercury ingresses into Cancer, that Mercury is going to conjunct Venus. So it's almost as if there's a possibility of an ally or an advocate helping you with your career public image, or an authority figure that might be a little bit less rambunctious or needy. So Venus being here conjuncting that Mercury when he's enters the 10th house might be more beneficial. So if you've got people rallying around you and advocates, hold on tight to them, don't let them go, because it looks as if this transit might be a little bit difficult for you as a Libra rising. The 21st of June, we see a Mercury sextiling Mars in the sign of Taurus, which is your 8th house of assets, other people's assets that benefit you, financial house. So when Mercury is sextiling Mars, there could be a go-ahead on a financial agreement or contract, or a partner gets a go-ahead, but it looks as if there's movement going on in that eighth house sextiling you. So it could be someone investing in you in your career or your public image, or there just could be some advantageous financial opportunities on this day that cross your table if it comes to pass. Congratulations, Libra rising, but again, check the details. The 26th of June, we see Mercury trining Saturn in the sign of Pisces, your 6th house of work, daily routines, your health routine, co-workers, services you provide to other people. Mercury trining Saturn. Mercury and Saturn in a more harmonious aspect than earlier in the month is beneficial for the information lands. The blockages are loosening up, things becoming more flow between Mercury and Saturn, connected to the topics of communication and restriction, or things that are slow, the slow grind and the wisdom. Mercury and Saturn are now in harmony and going, we've got each other, we understand each other, but we're here for the long game. So something's landing that's more permanent and going to be beneficial. Now, planet Mars. Now, Mars is a planet that has been transiting its own home sign of Aries. And opening up the month of June, continues its transit here, but is going to be leaving on the 9th of June. And Mars has been transiting in your 7th house. Now, Libra rising, this opposes you. So relationships, agreements, contracts, negotiations, other people. This is where all the energy is being directed towards. And there could have been a lot of conflict, drama, accidents, just problems with other people, with Mars transiting that 7th house opposing you. So I would say for Libra rising, there's been a bit of, it might not have been as peaceful as you anticipated in the last couple of months, but look, it's loosening up now. Well, not a couple of months, the last 6 weeks. Mars is now going to be ingressing into the sign of Taurus, which is your planetary ruler's other home sign, Taurus, your 8th house, until July 20th. Now, Mars technically is in its detriment in the sign of Taurus because it's Venus's sign, and Mars and Venus are opposites. So, Mars wants conflicts and wants action, and Venus wants to have a glass of wine and go, I just want to have a bath and just go and chill out. Thank you. I'm not interested in drama. So Mars is trying to cool his jets in the sign of Venus's house of Taurus, the 8th house, your 8th house, Libra rising, until July 20. Now, it's significant because Mars in the 8th house can have you having arguments about finances, agreements, assets, valuables, connected with a significant relationship or just other people. Mars can have you cutting away or severing from financial assistance or debts, or you might be helping someone financially, or someone may just pull the brakes on you and helping you with finances. So it's a tricky transit, to be really transparent. So forewarned is forearmed. Mars transiting in that 8th house. Watch your finances. Just be very diligent when it comes to assets and how other people's debts or assets or partners impact you. The 22nd of June, the day after the full moon, Mars is trining the moon. So your 4th house of home, family, real estate, property, your place of sanctuary is in a trine to that 8th house where Mars is transiting in Taurus. This looks harmonious for Creating more peace in the home. It's like you're investing in more peace in the home as a Libra rising, or you're redecorating, you're financing something to do with a property or real estate concern. So this looks like a nicer day on the 22nd of June, connected to home, family, and assets. Planet Venus, your ruling planet as a Libra rising, has been transiting in the sign of Gemini, trining you in your 9th house, which is great. On the 4th of June, Venus conjuncts the Sun. So this is where your values and your beliefs about life and philosophies about life connected to you are significant. What is it that you value? What's important to you? And how others see you as well. So academia, higher education could be highlighted here. Trying to decipher what's working, what's not, what's valuable, what's not. Also looking at long distance travel, legalities, media and publishing. This is what's been highlighted with Venus here. But Venus conjuncting that Sun on the 4th looks as if there's going to be a moment of just sitting with yourself and contemplating what you value. Just a very cerebral day. The 8th of June, Venus is going to square Saturn in Pisces, your 6th house. So Venus squaring Saturn, it's almost as if Saturn's going to forget the pleasure, forget the joy. It's too much work to do. Look at the realities of your day-to-day habits and routines. So a tricky day on the 8th. On the 17th, Venus is ingressing into the sign of Cancer, your 10th house, until July 11. And this is squaring you because you're a Libra rising and the 10th house is squaring the first. But Venus, when she's transiting here in the 10th house, is beneficial for cementing really concrete agreements and contracts and negotiations that benefit you. Get on top of the finances. It helps you identify what's in line with you ethically and morally when it's connected to your career, your public image, and also authority figures. Venus here is more beneficial, but because it squares your first house, it's as if you're trying to create your own sense of identity and autonomy. So it may be a little bit of a trickier transit when we're talking about how you're connected with others through work, career, and how you're seen, which really conflicts you. So you might be taking a step back from work or just rethinking your work and your career life. It's really significant to you. So this transit might be a little bit difficult to be really fair for you as a Libra rising. The 29th of June, Venus is sextiling Mars in Taurus at 8th house. So the two planets that are opposite one another are actually in harmony this day. So the 10th to the 8th, so you could see a beneficiary come in that's lucrative for you, connected to assets or valuables that assist your career, or you may get a redundancy payout or some sort of finances appear that help your career, or authority figure says, yes, I'm going to help you. This looks like a great day on the 29th of June for you as a Libra rising. Now let's talk about the outer planets and some of the other planets, what they're doing. Libra rising. Pluto is continuing its retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, which is your 5th house. And the 5th house is beneficial to you. It trines your 1st house. So when Pluto is slowing down in your 5th house of joy and pleasure, investments, romantic partnerships and connections, creative pursuits, sports and athletics, children, there's a lot going on in that 5th house. When Pluto's retrograding here, it's bringing back the opportunity to just indulge a little bit more in your sense of joy and pleasure, and possibly recalibrate investments and who you're investing in, or your sense of joy and pleasure, what really ticks your boxes. Are you getting real wealth and value from them? And Pluto's giving you the opportunity to purge and redirect your energy, or bring in the people that really assist you in bringing that sense of joy and pleasure. So it's actually a better transit when Pluto is retrograding in the 5th house, because it's bringing back an opportunity to really enjoy life and retweak understanding on where the wealth is connected to the joy and pleasure in your life. Neptune is going direct in the sign of Pisces, your 6th house, so this is great. But however, Neptune is really, really slow at the moment in the heavens because he's about to go retrograde. So Mercury in your, Neptune in your 6th house could just have you feeling as if it's hard to get a grasp on day-to-day routines. That's the disruptions there, or creative pursuits are disrupted because of work or your health. So it's a difficult transit with that Neptune in the 6th house, but it's going to go retrograde. So there should be a loosening of the bonds, as we say, in regards to the bonds that tie us in our day-to-day routines, career, co-workers, services that we provide to other people. Things may become clearer, give you an opportunity to redirect your energy connected to your career and what you do on a daily basis. Uranus is direct in the sign of Taurus, your 8th house. So Uranus is mucking up in that 8th house of assets and valuables, other people's assets that are of value to you. Uranus doesn't leave Taurus until 2026, so it's a few more years before Uranus leaves here. So if you need to get on top of those 8th house topics, and Uranus is sort of shaking things up and making things very obvious about what's secure and safe for you connected to assets and valuables through other people or just your own self-worth, this is the time to get on top of the 8th house for you as a Libra rising. Jupiter transiting in the sign of Gemini, your 9th house, in its detriment, trines you. So this is good, but Jupiter in detriment is a little bit of overinflation when it comes to getting on board with not being distracted by the shiny ball or too many opportunities connected to those 9th house topics we've already talked about. But because it trines you, I'd imagine this is a little bit more beneficial for you. Venus is your sign ruler as a Libra rising. Jupiter is the greater benefic, so I think this is a nice matchup. Just watch the overinflation of, this is fantastic. Just check your details, simple as. Now, Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, your 6th house, and is actually going into a retrograde June 29 until November 15 of 2024. So this is good for Saturn loosening up the restriction, the breaks. It almost feels like Saturn is taking a bit of a hiatus when it comes to those 6th house topics. So things should start feeling a little better, not so rigid in the day-to-day grind, or feeling like you're not on top of your health, or connecting with work more organically. Things should start loosening up there when Saturn is in a retrograde in your 6th house. Could also bring back some ailments or chronic issues from the past connected to things that have been part of you day to day. So things that have been part of your day-to-day grind might be leaving when you've got Saturn retrograde in that 6th house. Cosmic Girl 101 signing off. I trust you got some value from this video, Libra rising. Have yourself a fabulous June 2024. And if you like tarot, I've uploaded the tarot for June for all the sun signs. Have a fabulous one. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.